Sando Trini, a San Fernando story. Rivoli Theatre. Part 2. My parents returned from the nearby cinema known as the Rivoli Theatre, to find that we had locked them out of the house. They banged on the door and woke up Miss Fatima, her husband and their two boys, Chunka and Chanka. I felt something strike my forehead, just above my right eye. I raised my hand to my face. I expected to feel my brother's foot. I was surprised to touch a can. I knocked the can onto the floor beside me. I heard someone calling my name. When I heard the names of my siblings being called, I tried to open my eyes but I couldn't. I rubbed my eyes and my hands were wet. My shirt stuck to my body. It was dark inside the house. I couldn't see the condition of my clothes. My oldest sister came out of the bedroom with our only kerosene lamp. She asked, "What's all the noise out here?" She turned up the wick in the lamp to its highest setting. My two brothers sat up and looked around. They pointed at me and screamed so loudly that I felt afraid of whatever they were seeing. They seemed terrified, but I couldn't explain their behavior. The orange flame from the kerosene lamp painted a picture of the entire room. I looked down at my hands, then saw my clothes. Like an extra in a horror movie, I was covered with blood. To complete the effect, my hands left bloody fingerprints on my brother's clothes and on the floorboards. My sister almost dropped the lamp. She caught it with her free hand and she began to scream hysterically. She ran back into the bedroom and locked the door. My younger sister woke up and joined her in a screaming duet. I was again in total darkness, but I had seen enough to know that I was bleeding profusely. I finally decided to join the chorus of screamers. We screamed along with the incessant pounding on the door. My brother removed the wooden bar which kept the window open. He slammed the window shut and secured it. We backed away from the front door and huddled in front of the locked bedroom door. My brother shouted, "Open the door. Someone is trying to kill us and they are breaking down the door." There was a very short period of silence, then the screaming continued. We paused to catch our breaths, and we recognized the voices outside. "Open the door." We stopped screaming and listened closely. We nodded our heads in agreement. We were going to open the door. I wasn't the bravest, but I was the oldest, so with my two brothers close behind me, I approached the wooden door. I was shaking like a coconut branch in the wind, but I called out, "Who's there?" I heard my father shout, "Open the damn door now. We can't leave you all alone for 1 minute." I removed the stick we used as a door latch and slowly pushed the door open. I was beginning to feel lightheaded, and I was very relieved to see my parents. My mother inspected my head, then she looked up at the sky. I tried to look up too, but I felt a sharp pain over my right eye. She said, "Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord." She asked me if I could see her. When I said yes I could, she stepped inside and picked up the paint can and gave it to my father. He dropped the can and placed me in the back seat of his Ford Prefect, and we were on our way to the San Fernando hospital. The white towel they wrapped around my head didn't stop the flow of blood. I held my head with both hands. I thought that it expanded and contracted, like a shorty box, the accordion I saw being played at a Hindu feast. We drove westbound on Coffee Street. I glanced out the car window as we passed by the Rivoli cinema on the right. By then I heard enough to learn what led up to the bloodbath. When my parents realized that we were all sound asleep, my mother picked up a rusty paint can from the backyard, and threw it through the half-open window. She thought that the can would make enough noise to awaken someone. She expected it to land on the wooden floor. I was laying on the floor close to the open window, when the edge of the can landed on my right eyebrow and caused a nasty wound. At the hospital, I remember little more than being told that I was about to receive 4 stitches to close the wound. The next day, I was allowed to miss school, and I was given a large tamarind ball from Mr. Pierre's shop. I was told that it was a reward for being brave the previous night at the hospital. I hesitated to take it when I saw the large sugar crystals on the tamarind ball. I recalled eating too much sugar before my accident. I instinctively touched the bandage on my forehead, but I couldn't resist a San Fernando tamarind ball.